Professor Elda Brogi, welcome to this episode of EUI Research. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. Thanks, Maria, for having me today.
Of course. You are a lawyer and the Deputy Director of the Center for Media Pluralism and Media Freedom, but you joined the EUI quite a long time ago, in 2011, and 3 years later you started having an important role in the creation of the Media Pluralism Monitor, also known as the MPM. And this project has done something rare in European policy, because it has turned the principle of media pluralism into something measurable, and it has given Europe a common framework for assessing media pluralism, media freedom, editorial independence. And so I wanted to ask you about the methodology behind.
Thank you. Indeed, I joined the EUI in 2011 and at the law department first, and then I joined the newly established Center for Media Pluralism and Media Freedom. The center was established in 2012, and one of the tasks it was given first was the implementation of the Media Pluralism Monitor, a tool that was already existing following the needs of having some kind of methodology to measure media pluralism in Europe. So we took this tool, we operationalized it, we somehow streamlined it in a way that was applicable in all member states, and it was a big effort somehow to put together a big team of researchers across Europe in order to implement it at national level and create a data collection, a regular data collection that every year again collects information on the state of play, on the temperature, as we say, of media pluralism in each member state and EU member state and beyond, because we also cover candidate countries. And we do it using a methodology that encompasses a definition of media pluralism that is somehow broad, as it doesn't focus only on the classical issue of concentration in the media market, but again covers a broad definition of media pluralism, starting from the analysis of fundamental protections, including the state of play of freedom of expression, the condition of journalists, for instance, to market plurality, again, so the more traditional element that is analyzed when dealing with media pluralism, then political pluralism and social inclusiveness. So our methodology encompasses these 4 big areas, and each area is analyzed through 5 indicators, 5 main indicators that are linked to standards that are common in Europe when analyzing and thinking of media pluralism. And each indicator is broken down in sub-indicators and variables for a total of 20 indicators and 200 variables that cover legal, economic and socio-political considerations. Therefore, if I may, this Media Pluralism Monitor, considering somehow its granularity, the granularity of the data it collects, the scope, because really we rely on a group of researchers that is really numerous. So from a project, an academic project that was aiming at measuring the state of play of media pluralism in each member state, the MPM became also some kind of language, let's say, and produced results that then were also relevant at a certain point for media policy, for policymakers in general, at EU level and at national level. I think that this is somehow the strength of the project, to be grounded on solid principles that are those linked to the constitutional theory on media pluralism, the economics of media pluralism, the societal and political issues linked with this topic, but somehow another strength of the project is the fact that it relies on a strong group of researchers, including, of course, those of the CMPF, that on top of that are very motivated, and relies on a regularity somehow.
Thank you, Professor. And as you were saying, this academic project has a direct policy impact. Actually, its findings are often cited in the Rule of Law report by the European Commission. That is an annual report. And there's more. In what way you would say that the MPM has helped shaping the discussions around the European Media Freedom Act?
Definitely, the Media Pluralism Monitor contributed to the debate on a new Media Freedom Act. The European Union doesn't have conferred competences on media pluralism, but indeed the circumstances and the evidence also brought by the MPM itself created the conditions for this new act to be proposed first and then debated and approved in a way that somehow is groundbreaking, in a sense that for many years the European Union was refusing somehow to intervene in this very field. I think that the MPM, as I said, fed the debate first, even before it created the conditions for a common language to understand what are the principles that should be considered when analyzing media pluralism and when boosting and protecting somehow media pluralism in a democratic setting. It gave the European Commission somehow the justification or the courage also to act on this topic, because again, it's not easy to legislate in this field, considering also some resistances from the member states themselves. I mean, traditionally, media freedom and media pluralism are within the remit of the states. Indeed, I think that there is also a contribution that the Media Pluralism Monitor gave to policymaking when it comes to the Rule of Law report, even before the European Media Freedom Act, because the results of the DMPM are regularly taken into account and quoted in the part of the Rule of Law report that deals with media pluralism.
This is such a great example of how research can serve policy, a good example here at the UI. And now, as part of the MPM, at the Center for Media Pluralism and Media Freedom, there has been also established an observatory on ENFA, and through talks, debates, blogs, you closely monitor its implementation. And I wanted to ask you, based on this analysis you're familiar to, What would you say are the main challenges for the enforcement of ENFA?
The main challenges to the enforcement of the Act are, again, a little bit of resistance from some member states. In some articles, the European Media Freedom Act is a regulation, so it is directly applicable without any transposition, but some of the articles of the European Media Freedom Act ask for an implementation, and considering that the Act is somehow principle-based in some parts, the main challenge is to find, again, the best way to implement it at national level, to find the right mechanisms to give the Act the exact meaning, following the aim of the Act, that is to protect and to boost media pluralism, media freedom through the harmonization of the rules for the internal market. So I think one of the main challenges could be this. Of course, in our analysis, we see that some countries already are compliant to some extent with the principles and the rules of the European Media Freedom Act, but indeed probably some political willingness is lacking here and there in Europe.
And to conclude, I have a looking forward question, because for a decade, the environment in which the MPM operates has changed a lot. Media distribution does not happen only within national systems, and now there's also cross-border digital infrastructures. So with this situation, and now with a set of rules, common set of rules in place, is it enough to continue measuring the media pluralism national-based?
Well, it is necessary. It is probably not enough. The national level should be kept, indeed, but considering the development of global platforms, considering the AI, that is the development of AI that is definitely disrupting somehow the way news are produced and consumed, and considering also some crises. We didn't think of wars and crises when we implemented the first time the MPM, but indeed now crises of various kinds are becoming somehow a feature of our information environment. Indeed, there is a need to keep an eye on what's going on at a broader level, because what happens at global level matters, and indeed it's important to monitor the European market in order to understand really how media plurality, let's say, performs at a European level. Now, more than ever, considering also that we have the European Media Freedom Act, that in the end, in Article 26, explicitly asks for it.
Thank you very much, Professor Brogi, for your time and for your commitment to defend press freedom, journalist work that is so important for democracy.
Thanks to you. It was my pleasure being with you today.